Hey guys, Uncommon Ramen here with another Kickstarter that I actually received, I want to say a few weeks back. Problem was that I think I received it roughly around the same time that I got COVID, so I couldn't do a filming of the episode because it would have sounded awful, and I don't actually think I would have been able to make it through the entire video. Anyway, this is for Escape the Dark Sector, which is a solo play. I think you can play with multiple people, but it's mainly a solo play game set in a black and white, space-related, almost horror story, if you will. This is the expansions that they kickstarted recently. So there's 3 expansion packs here. There's one off the camera that you can't see very well. And I want to go through all these really quickly. So first off, we have Escape the Dark Sector, the game of deep space adventure, Mission Pack 1 Twisted Tech. So you actually will add these on to the core game. They're not playable by themselves. You have to have the core game in order to use them. And you don't mix them together. Like, I won't play Twisted Tech and Mutant Syndrome as well as the core game. You choose one and you mix it, and that's where you go from there. And what it does is it opens up even more replay value. And the game itself actually has quite a bit of replay value. So it didn't necessarily need it, so it's kind of a welcome thing that they allowed us to have some more fun stuff. So here we got the back of the box here. It says it comes with 12 chapter cards, 1 boss card, 9 item cards, 3 drone cards, 1 tech die, 6 ammo die, and 1 supplemental rule book. So we're going to jump in here really quick. I just want to take a quick look at each of these so you can see what's in the box, so we don't make the video too long. Each one of them is going to come with a supplemental rule book that helps you figure out how to mix them together with a seamless feel to them. So it just shows you the components that you should expect to get, and then it goes over changes to the setup so that you can set up the game correctly. Oh, how did I even manage that? So that you can set up the game correctly to play this particular story. And like I said, it adds different pathways so that you can have a different gameplay. And this is really, you don't even have to do this if you don't want to. Like, if you haven't finished playing all of the different stories that are available for the core game, and by that I mean if you haven't faced all of the different end game bosses, which I can't remember how many there are. There's like 3 or 5 of them. I can't remember exactly. Then by all means continue to do that. With the way that the game sets up, it's very hard to have the same game multiple times. As you can see here, this was based off of their medieval version, which was Escape from the Dark Castle, and it as well got 3 new expansions to help make it more replayable. Now, what I'm going to show you here is going to be spoilers, so if you are sensitive to that and you do not want to see them, then I suggest you do not continue to watch the video here, because I'm going to show you what each of these cards are. I'm not going to go into great detail about it. Obviously, you can pause through it, but we're going to go ahead and look at each of these cards. We have ourselves these new story cards that help to differentiate each game that you play. And I do believe, and I could be wrong, I really haven't gone through any of these rule books that heavily, that you mix these in with the current set of story cards to allow for you to have an even greater experience with them. So these were all the 3. I think this one is supposed to represent the first set of cards you're supposed to run into, and then the next one with the 2 dots represents the follow-up. And then when it hits 1 dot, you're talking about the boss himself. So. And you can see that it still has that great artwork that gives you that horror-esque feeling of being trapped on a giant space station, if you will, that's ruled under what I can only assume is a great deal of chaos. So we're running into the ones. Okay, so the ones are not actually the boss just yet. But as our path hits these one cards, we know we are getting closer and closer. And I do believe these get harder and harder. Is this a boss? No, this is the last of the ones. Let's see the bottom of the card there. And then here we have what you've been going through this whole space station for, which is the horrible, horrible boss who's trying to keep you from succeeding. So those are the new cards that are going to be added to it. Then, like they mentioned, you have this cool new black die. I'm sure this has something to do with modifications and so on and so forth. I'm sure this facing is not a good facing, but you got a couple different circuitry-looking facings. Then we have several of these smaller dice. Let me get these out of the box. These represent ammo dice. And they have any numerous amount of facings. We've got a bunch of different fire facings, plus we have this like super fire, this fire that's going into like Super Saiyan mode. Then we have blank faces, and I think, yeah, it looks like they're all the same, so we don't have to worry too much about them changing up. So yeah, they're all the same, but these are the ammo dice. Next up, we have drone. Okay, so these are your drone cards. Then we have implants? Yeah, okay, so we got cybernetic implants, we got the drone commander. Some weapons here, punch gun, chrono rig, teleporter, sniper rifle, ballistic shield, multi-stim, flamethrower, and a neutrophil. So that is what comes in the Mission Pack 1 Twisted Tech, and like I said, you just kind of mix these in with the core set in order to get a new storyline. So now we're going to move into Mission Pack number 2. So this is Mission Pack number 2, Mutant Syndrome. And in Mission Pack number 2, instead of having this weird cybernetic dude coming after us, we are going to have some mutations and some new, what do they call these characters? Or crew members, there you go. New crew members as well joining us. So we got 12 chapter cards, 1 boss card, 3 item cards, 6 mutation cards, 1 mutation die, 3 crew cards, 3 crew dice, 1 reference card, and the supplemental rulebook. And this one, again, is a completely different idea. So in the Twisted Tech, we had some stuff about technology and stuff. In this one, we're going to have a big old mutant and other related stuff, and not in a good way like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. More in a twisted, unfortunate way. And I don't mean Shredder either. Just take a quick look at this so we can see. These are some of the new characters. We got ourselves a picture of the pool of dice. And then, of course, our prerequisite advertisement. Next up again, this is spoilers, so if you do not want to get spoiled, please do not continue to watch. Alright, so for starters, we got our new crew members in the form of Lieutenant Parvon. The strength is right there. We have ourselves another new crew member in the form of Lieutenant Zari, or, yeah, I guess it's Zari. And then finally, we have Lieutenant Grib. Again, it's been a while since I've played this. I don't remember if any of the original crew members were non-human or not. I remember them being mostly human, so it's interesting to see non-humans in this one. So now we're going to move into the encounter cards. And again, it goes to that really dark, like I said, almost horror-esque type look to it. But we have that black and white feel, so it kind of lends to, I suppose, film noir. Or kind of like a rough sketch of what you would think of or imagine if you were like reading a book of some sort. I personally was a huge fan of the art. They could have done a lot of things. They could have gone like really, you know, with some high profile artists and you know, made it look just absolutely incredibly beautiful, all that. But I love the fact that they went for this more sketch feel to it. And I won't say it's not necessarily amateur, because there is absolutely no way I could replicate this. They just do a really good job of, you know, foreshortening and everything. The shading is really good. So it's not like I could replicate this, but it does have this feeling of a sketch that you would expect in a book as kind of a illustration to help you imagine it better, without it being some sort of like super well polished, finished piece of art. And I mean, this art right here is a good example of where they make it obviously look like it's a hologram, but it's still not like, you know, your super polished CG type thing. And they really do capture this idea of this place being very disconcerting, if you will. Almost like Judge Dredd to a degree. And I don't say that just because of his helmet, but it does have a reminiscent feeling of like Judge Dredd, RoboCop, Total Recall, stuff like that. Not the new Total Recall, the old one with Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Some of you might be too young for that one. I'm not saying it was a well-executed movie, but I thought it was phenomenal for its time. This guy kind of looks like... What are those giant creatures from Star Wars? Rancor. A Rancor. And then our boss here is going to be the Mutanoid. Just a big, mean, scary-looking SOB. And he says here, witness the power of the mutagen. Let me tell you, we're not talking about the same mutagen as the one from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one is far uglier. Alright, so we have ourselves a mutation dice. You'll see that it has this same little skull symbol as the cybernetics one does. And then it has some rad symbols and... oh, it has two of those skulls. And then a rad symbols with, well, I guess negative color scheming. Don't know what it means, but I can't imagine it being any good. And then we have our crew dice. That just kind of goes into their strengths and whatnot. I don't know if these are significantly different from the other ones in the other set, but definitely excited to have some new crew. Next up, we have what I believe to be the mutations and whatnot. Right, mutation arm. And you can see... okay, so depending on what you roll, it has different effects. Another arm mutation. Not going to flip all of these. You'll just have to pause. I'm sorry, guys. Leg mutation. I am kind of disappointed that they didn't give it some sort of name. Because these are just like generic. Oh, here we go. We have a leg mutation, right? We have a head mutation here, but it doesn't kind of go into... I mean, aside from the text box, it doesn't really go into detail about it. Like, you know, did I get a second head? Do I have, 14 eyes? Like, got a body mutation here. We have ourselves an augmented healing. A stun baton. A life serum. And then we have a Mutation Rules reference, which I think is pretty neat here. Just kind of goes over, it says if you draw a mutation card, you must roll the mutation die immediately. And then it just tells you what happens. It looks like you want to roll a skip. I mean, not skip, the skull. I mean, you still lose an HP, but a lot of these, when it was on the skull side, had no effect, so... Anyway, that is what you're going to get with the Mutation Syndrome. And that is Mission Pack number 3. I'm sorry, number 2. My bad, number 2. So now we're going to look at Mission Pack number 3. So Mission Pack number 3 is Quantum Rift, and this one I did read a little bit about, and this one is, it introduces some time manipulation type stuff. So we got 12 chapter cards, 1 boss card, 1 item card, 8 artifact cards, 3 crew cards, 3 crew dice, 1 rift die, 1 reference card, and 1 supplemental rule book. So again, we're going to get 3 more crew members here for a total of 6 with all 3 of these new crew members. I don't know if you're forced to use any of them specifically. I kind of doubt that that's the case, but, again, having not read the rule books here, we'll just, like I said, run through this really quickly. Shows our contents. Change of setup, the rift die, some stuff about the rift chapters, and some important information. We get to talk about the artifacts, cybernetic upgrades, our new alien crew members, because these guys are definitely not human. Shows a picture of the playmat that you could have gotten if you backed it that way. I really didn't back the neoprene mats. I very rarely do on Kickstarter because they're just so expensive. 9 times out of 10, these companies will sell them as a retail item later on. So, if you feel the need to do so, I'm not that type of person. This is a generally solo play game, and if I'm playing by myself, I don't need a neoprene mat. Okay, so first off, we're going to take a look at our alien crew members. We got ourselves a Lieutenant Talek. A Lieutenant Voki. A Lieutenant Gorn. It's kind of neat looking. Next up, we got our encounter cards. I think it's really interesting that they don't actually put a name to these cards because it gives you the chance to make up an idea in your head of what we're looking at. I mean, they obviously have a story to them, but... So these ones have a different background color because they represent you going into a time rift and coming out at different time frames. So this is obviously feudal Japan. We have ourselves sometime when the dinosaurs existed. Probably a world war of some sort, 1 or 2, because we got ourselves trench warfare going on here. With the gas masks, I would assume maybe World War I. We got this very ominous looking dude with a stone in his hand. Could be good, could be bad, who knows. Sometime back when privateering was a thing, and our very paranoid pirates existed. We have what looks to be a portal. Almost a Stargate-ish portal because it has those little, arrow things marking, just like the Stargate portal had. The good old West, Wild Wild West. Medieval times, feudal Europe, possibly. Another futuresque looking dude that kind of reminds me of Star Wars in a way. Or maybe Firefly. We got some Romanesque type soldiers here. So probably sometime during the rule of Rome. A weird gate that kind of reminds me of Alien. Last but not least, we got the Arachnocron. This is our boss. This is not our time, feeble humans. But I beg to differ. I mean, you're the one who trapped us on your ship, buddy. Get it straight. Okay, so that is the cards. So now we're going to look at these dice, starting with the, what I believe they called the Rift die. Got a bunch of these little rift symbols. 2 of them with the black center, 2 of them with the white center, 1 of them with the white center and stars and planets, and then we have our fantastic little skull, which I always thought was a bad thing, but hey, what do I know? We have our character dice. The feel of these dice are really incredible. They could have gone the route of having some of the more smaller dice, or even along the average size die, but these are much larger dice than... The ammo die in the first pack were more along the lines of an average size die. These are just a slight bit larger. Next up, we have weapons. We have a Roman shield, a Roman javelin, a partially rotten apple, a stale loaf of bread, got some dynamite, some grog, Got a ration tin. A samurai sword. Advanced targeting version 2.0 cybernetic implant. Then we have a Rift Rules reference. No, see, the skull on this one is bad. It says Rift Nightmare. Ugh. It's hard to tell. In the mutation one, I know that you lose 1 HP, but at least you don't take any effects from the mutation. Granted, maybe some of those effects aren't bad. Who knows? Anyway, that is the, what is this called? Quantum Rift, which is mission pack number 3. To be honest with you, this game is infinitely expandable. They could go on for a while. But this is the sector... Escape the Dark Sector mission packs. Oops, sorry, let me get a good. There we go. Mission packs 1, 2, and 3 to help add to the game and give it a little bit more replay value. Not that it honestly needs it. And it was a Kickstarter that I just recently received. But like I said, I had COVID and it was very difficult to do anything that would require filming and, more importantly, talking. So that is that. I forgot to say at the very beginning of the video, if you like my content and you want to see more of it, please hit that like and subscribe button. And like I said, hit the bell icon if you want to see more of the content as it comes out. And if you feel the need to support me, hit me up on my Patreon at patreon.com/uncommonramen. I do all of this in my free time, so any amount of support can help me bring more of this content to you more often. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave those down below. And let's keep everything positive. I will be removing negative comments. And that's it, folks. Until next time, peace.